Students, now it is question and answer session that is very important in respect of your examination point of view. So, the first is answer in a word or a phrase or a sentence that carries 1 mark each. Second section, it will be answer in 80 to 100 words. So, you try to restrict yourself within 100. If not possible, go for 120, max to max 140, not more than that. And here I suggest your answer should carry 3 paragraphs. I will go further in detail. And then for third section, that is answered in about 200 words, that is the illustrated one, essay type. You will have to attempt only one, that is of 200 words. So, it will be a little lengthy. So, almost 1.5 or 2 pages full. Here I will discuss that how to attempt. The first one, that is answer in a word or a phrase. For first and foremost, we will try to restrict ourselves in a word, right, if possible, and if no it is possible, we will opt for a phrase or a sentence, right. Then next is answer in 80 to 100 words. This section, each question carries 4 marks each, and here in this section you will have to attempt 8 questions, right, in the final paper, that means 100 marks paper. The first section 1 mark, 12 questions you will have to attempt, and 4 marks you will have to attempt 8 questions. So, first 12, in the next section 4 multiplied by 8, that is 32 marks, right. Here in this section you will have to begin with a brief introduction of the poet or the author, along with the introduction of the poem or about the story. That means in the first paragraph you start with your lesson, the brief introduction, and then go for the poet, right. How to give the introduction, I will just discuss with the example of D.H. Lawrence and Money Madness, right. And then in the second paragraph of yours, you will have to directly start with the answer. Answer means, see, as the question is been placed, accordingly you will have to set your answer, right. Not only stating the summary will do, but if you cannot, if you don't understand the question at all, you don't leave the answer or don't leave the paper blank. It is always better to write something, then you write the summary, okay. Then the third paragraph, there you write a concluding line or a concluding paragraph, right. Don't write ever unnecessary thing. That means don't try to stretch or illustrate your answer unnecessary, right. To the point answer always deserve good mark, right. So, try to write to the point answer. You see what is been asked and write accordingly, fine. Then the third one, it is a lengthy answer, so you will have to plan it very intelligently. You see, you will have to stretch the part of introduction, that means poet's introduction and the lesson's introduction, a little lengthy. Then you will have to go for the answer, and always here is a critical part, that means the critical apprehension of yours. See here the 200 words, the question you can see that do you look at the poem as some kind of forewarning of a future disaster. That means it needs your apprehension about the poem. What do you understand or what do you derive after reading the poem? Got it? So that part carries separate marks. If it is of 6 marks, the last one 200 words, the answer, it carries 6 marks. Okay, so we read the entire answer, especially the last paragraph of yours. That means your thought, whatever you think about the poet, or what do you think about the poem. Fine. So never you forget to state your apprehension there. Fine. So let us begin with the first one. I am going to discuss the 1 mark question here. I will give you the responsibility for 4 marks as well as 6 marks answer that will be left for you for your homework. I have given you enough material, I believe, for your support. Fine. So the first one, what is money madness? Money madness is the money induced insanity in human being, the imbalanced thought about money in human being, right? How is a man's worth measured? A man's worth is measured, you need not to write that part, right? So I'm giving you the answer in a full sentence, so it will be easy for you to understand. A man's worth is measured by his materialistic possession, right? How are poor treated in the society? To eat dirt and go cold. You will have to choose, always try to choose your answer from the poem itself or from the prose part itself, whatever is exactly stated by the author or the poet. Okay. What should be made free according to the poet? Your answer will be bread, shelter and fire. Only these 3 words will claim your marks, right? And here answer in 80 to 100 words. So you can begin like this, that Money Madness is a poem reflecting a materialistic test towards society, which is written by D.H. Lawrence. He was a prominent 12th century English writer. He has to his credit several books, short stories, poems, plays, essays, and travel books, as well as translations. In this poem, the poet perceives materialistic perspective of his fellow human beings. The poet goes on projecting a future which ushers in a moneyless society, probably. So in this way, or you may change, that means I never force anybody to stick to the material or the support that I provide. Okay, it is just an example. So whatever I have given over here, you can take the suggestion or you can create your own, that is always appreciable. Okay, you can begin with that. Then you can write that money tends to induce certain insanity in which individual, according to Lawrence. In this way, whatever we have discussed, that how human being is insane about money and how money creates imbalance in the society. Then write about something that the money created imbalance in the society, then go for this, that why does poet say the entire human being, that means several or the separate human being which make the total human society the collective money madness. Each of us, we have our share of contribution, our share of responsibility which we contribute in this money mad society, right? And that makes the collective money madness. Okay. And then how are the signs of insanity depicted in the human society? That will be what will be your answer? Say that insanity, it isn't it insane behavior that to judge, to justify a human being in the paradigm, in the parameter of the material possession, right? And if a person doesn't have money, we force him, we say, to humiliate, and only the instruction is to eat dirt and go cold, right? So this is the insanity that is depicted in the human society, in the paradigm of money. Fine. And then do you think that the poem as some kind of forewarning for a future disaster? I strongly believe that this answer you can write on your own. So all the best. Okay, and write the answers, and I think that we will resume our classes soon. So by that time we will discuss, right? So the poet says that wherever we look, there is madness for money. In fact, money can be termed as a metaphor for the world, for the word madness, and this madness is not on small or individualistic level. It is the madness of the multitude, in numbers unimaginable and at levels incredible. And since the multitude as a whole is mad for money, so every person in this world carries his share of this madness, his share of this insane race after money. The poet doubts that there exists a human in this world who hands out a pound note to someone without feeling a pang at heart. No matter how noble he may feel while giving away that note, his heart always wishes if only he could do all that good without having to take out a note from his own pocket. And when that note turns to a 10-pound note, we experience real tremor within us. We tremble from inside while giving away that note, as if we have been robbed. Money makes us kneel in front of itself. It makes us fearful, and a sense of apprehension and stress grips us as we try to overcome a loss as materialistic and small as 10 pounds. It has an exaggerating power to influence our life. But in the broader sense, it is not the money that we are terrified of, but it is the madness that mankind shows for it. The multitude madness that gives money such an undeserved status in this society of today. And from here arises the feeling that money is all that matters today. It means peace of body and mind. Every time the society sees the man, no one cares for his moral values and behavior. All that decides his social status is that how much is he worth. If he has no money, then he will deserve all the guilt, criticism, blame, that comes with poverty. Then let him go cold, says the society. The poet goes on to say that if one has no money, the world would give him little money, only enough to perhaps buy a piece of bread in the name of humanity. But even the small offering doesn't come for free. He has to eat dirt to get it. Sufferings through pains unheard and criticisms unparalleled. The poet says it is this pitiful and inhuman situation that he is afraid of. He fears that such madness for money might result in the world going completely insane. It is this fear of money mad fellow men going into a state of delirium that resides within him. If we are to save ourselves from humiliations, criticism, guilt, and blames in this modern day world, we must have money because money parallels power. And the poet strongly criticizes such a morally and socially degraded state of the modern day society. He proclaims that bread, shelter, and fire should be free to anybody and to everybody all over the world. We must regain our sanity when it comes to money. We must replace our madness with logic. Otherwise, soon enough, we will start killing one another for the sake of money. It is either one way or the other.